All right. Hello, everybody. I am okay. All right. I'm recording for you today bill entry training for CEMCS, which is Commonwealth Energy Management Control System. So, our project is to track and trend utility data for state owned and leased properties. By trending and tracking this data, we can make improvements, we can see fault. We can sometimes find even meters that do not belong to the Commonwealth. We can improve utility consumption and hopefully save um, energy and save some cost as well. So I'm starting here. This is what you see when you first log into CEMSIS. This right here is just a temporary notice for our update that we just did recently. When you see Welcome to CEMSIS on the right, you'll see a list of agencies that you have access to. I have a list of quite a few, but you're going to select yours. And this training is for the general bill entry user. So most of these forms you enter in very much the same manner. So I'm just going to record a couple and then have them available for anyone who needs to enter bills into CEMSIS. Okay, once you click on your agency, you see an overview of how the agency is doing as a whole compared to years past. That's actually not what we're going to be doing right now. We're going to be entering some bills into the system. So go to Bill Management. Okay, Bill Management is a place where you're going to input manually the utility bills that you gather, either by getting paper bills through the mail or by retrieving them from your online account. Um, Utility bills is one of the ways CEMSIS collects data to use in the analysis tools. There are a few other ways that we also collect data, and that will be a different training. Okay, so over here on the left, we have what's called a purchased utility tree. So there's a list of all of the utilities that this particular agency utilizes. So we're going to choose ours and click on the triangle to open the branch. Underneath, you'll see a list of accounts under that utility. So when you go as a user, you're going to be very careful that you're choosing the correct utility and account that you mean to. All right, I believe this, I'm going to check my bill and make sure this is the account that I want. It is not, so I'll collect this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open by using the arrow on the left, the account to find the meters underneath, and then I'm going to just left click on the meter. On the right side is a list of the history that we've already collected for this meter. Now, when you first get access into CEMSIS, you may notice that this is not a current date here. And although this is the newest that we have, that is not close to the current date. Usually, our implementation, there's a gap there between the bills that we obtain and the time frame that is current. So the user in that instance will need to fill in the gap from this newest bill that we have in the system to current. And really, that's a good way to practice entering these bills and not forget how to do it. So right up here is the latest bill that we have. And you want to start entry after this. So when you're looking through your bills and trying to figure out where to start, this date right here is the one you need. So this is the service date from and to. So you would need the next bill in the sequence to start 8/10/2020, and then it would probably be 2/9/10/2020. Will be the next bill that you're looking for. Okay. This particular instance, I have a much newer bill, so I'm going to be entering it out of sequence. And that is something that you can do. And I'll tell you why I tell you enter from oldest to newest and fill the gap first. but you can do it out of sequence, and as long as you're paying attention, there's no problem at all. All right, so there's a few features here that I would like to talk about, but for now, we're going to enter in this bill. So we're going to hit New, and you're going to have a form pop up in a new window. And so if you have a pop-up blocker, you want to allow pop-ups. This allows you to have your form window, and then you can click back to bill management in case you needed to view something. All right, now let's start with the elements of this form here. So we're going to have the utility name and the utility type. So W for water. Next is accounting month. Accounting month. So when you think accounting, you think money flow. Accounting month is exactly that. That is the month in which the bill is due. So we're going to look at our bill. This has a due date of March 10th, 2021. So my month is 3/1/21. So I'm going to click offside, and it's going to change that to, say, March 2021. Usage month is the month in which most of the service days fall. So our service days on this bill is January 7th to February 8th. Okay, so when you think about those dates, 8 of those days are going to fall in February, but most of the bills, excuse me, most of the days of the bill are going to fall in January. So that's going to be our usage month. Okay. Over here to the right, we have invoice date, and you find that on your bill. It could be either statement date, bill date, invoice date. I'm going to fill that in. And then due date down here should be on your bill. Sometimes if it's an auto draft, it might say draft date. Invoice number here, we're going to leave alone, and I'll get back to that here in a little bit. We're going to move down here to service dates. So you're going to find the from and to on your bill. It could say current reading, previous reading, present reading, those sorts of words. So right here, our service dates say that it is from January 7th, like I mentioned, to February 8th. Okay, my meter readings for this bill. Previous on my bill says 11463, and my current is 11514. So when I click off to the side, it does this calculation for you for metered usage. And what you want to do is double check that this is what it has on your bill. Now, this particular bill bills in 100 gallons. So their unit is 100 gallons. So I changed this already. This is something you don't have to do. This should be already finished for you. To say units, because that needs to match the unit on your bill. And it does. On my bill, it says 100 gallons used is 51. Okay, so total consumption down here, you'll notice, is represented in gallons. So that should be the converted number right here. So 5,100 gallons. Gallons happens to be the unit that we use in CEMCS, so we needed to convert it here on the form. Okay, water charges. On my bill, it specifically calls out the water charges, and it should on yours as well. So $30.75 on my bill. Sewer charges is also specifically called out to be, let's see, 36.26 on my bill. All right, underneath here we have other water charges, irrigation, fire, etc. So if you have an irrigation meter, fire meter, you would want to put that information right here if you have charges on your bill. Trash collection, same goes for that. We don't track and trend trash data, but to enter this form, it's much easier to have a place to put that information. So go ahead and fill that out so that your bill totals correctly on here. State sales tax. Likely you will not be paying state sales tax. And if you are, there's a good chance that you should not be. So check with your utility and make sure that you can't get that removed. And late fee, this is just a place where we can track unnecessary late charges um, or penalties here. Miscellaneous taxes and fees is where pretty much all the other water type charges go. So if you have a school tax or if you have other kind of small taxes or weird fees, weird as in unusual fees maybe for that month, or yeah, all kind of municipalities have different types of little fees. So that is a calculated field. They won't let you actually type anything in there. What it does is it takes the total, subtracts all these other fields, and then fills in your miscellaneous as the resulting difference. So the total current charges, I'm going to look on my bill, and actually I need to add these up. Be my water plus my sewer. Actually, it looks like I typed that in wrong. This is supposed to be, excuse me, 6513. And my total is 101.39. Okay. So my miscellaneous taxes and fees total up to be $5.51. You want to go ahead and check on your bill and make sure those little charges add up to that amount. So I'm going to do that real quick with my calculators. Sometimes you don't need to pull out a calculator. It's listed right on your bill. Depends on how they're laid out. Okay, so my total of the little miscellaneous fees is $5.51. Okay, so we know that I entered everything correctly. Next, I want to talk about this calculate button. It does a few features. I'm going to go ahead and click it. First of all, if you hit calculate, it speaks to what we have stored in the system. So if your form has timed out, which can happen if you spend a little too long past the allotted time for filling out the form, it's going to give you red boxes around these fields. And then you would know after hitting calculate, it's spoken to the system said you have timed out, you'll have red boxes, you'll have to just close and start over again. But this time you'll know what needs to go in what place. You won't need to figure anything out. All right, calculate also does two other things. Like I said, it speaks to the system and pulls out saved um, rates that we have stored for this particular utility company. So this one is a smaller utility company. We don't have any rates stored for this. So nothing happens when I hit it calculate. Um, Another thing that calculate does is it makes sure this invoice number is unique. Remember how I said to skip that and we were coming back to it? So invoice number needs to be unique and it's based off of a few fields here. Calculate, like I said, speaks to the system and makes sure that that is a unique number. Um, let's see, if calculate, say you were doing a larger utility company, and when you hit calculate, it actually did bring back rates that were stored in our system. Those rates could possibly be out of date. Rates change quite frequently. We do try to keep that up to date, but we're not always able to do that. So once you hit calculate and it changes your numbers, don't hit calculate again. You just need to hit it the one time. Change your numbers if you need to, and then you're going to go ahead and hit submit. And what that's going to do is it's going to send the data to the server. It will say it's been submitted successfully. You're going to hit OK. And it's going to take you back to bill management. And all it did was really just close that form tab up here and take you back to the tab that is open, which is bill management. And you'll notice that you do not have a bill here. You don't have your new one. What you need to do is go down here to the bottom right and hit this refresh button. And when you do, it will bring that information back from where it stored it on the server. And we can just take a quick glance. We want to make sure our consumption looks reasonable in juxtaposition with the other consumption numbers. Also, the total, it falls in line. And you can see if this were, let's just be crazy and say this were $3 million, you would know at that point, I need to go back and check my bill again because this doesn't look normal for this meter. Also, you want to make sure all your dates look good. Just give an eyeball, check, a quick check to make sure that looks good. All right, there's a few more things I want to talk about this screen before we go. Right here is your show all. When you click that, and I will do so, it expands these columns to show you everything we've collected for CEMCS. Okay, and we've collected that through the forms. So the form that you just entered, all the fields in there. Over here to the left, we see there's an edit button. The one we just did, we can edit. So I'll click that so you can see what that looks like. So I'll hit edit. You can change, you want to make sure show all is selected so that you can change any of these fields. And if you need to make an update, you can do so. And then you would hit this update or this cancel. All right. So when you hit edit, you're going to be editing right in this grid here. And then you're going to hit that update button. It's not going to pop up a new form for you to change. All right, you'll see right here it says PU and it does not have an edit button. That means this cannot be edited as is. So it has a publish lock put on it because this data is currently being used in reports. It shouldn't be easily edited. You can edit it, but you would need to go in and unlock it. And so that is a training for post and publish, and that will be a separate training. And we'll talk more about what these symbols mean. Basically, this one's locked, this one is not locked. You can change this one. You can also change this one if you unlock it. Okay, well, I think that's all for now. Most of these forms are filled out in much the same way. There are some more, I want to say complex forms, but they're not as bad as that sounds. For the bigger utilities, there's a few more numbers in there or calculations or rates that we want to try to capture. All right, so that's bye for now. And thanks for joining in with this project.